at the time I was 27 and most of my self-worth was attached to just being a jack dude who was a trainer. But I knew I had way more inside of me. Like all of this potential that I felt was not yet tapped into. And I wanted to explore, what is that potential? What is it that I'm actually put on this planet to do? Because there's so much more than just the physical body.
This is going to be so much fun. Jeremy Abramson, huge influencer online, good friend. Just for the audience, I need everybody to know you are a friend. We know you super well. How do we know you? We drank medicine together years ago. Yes. And I remember the moment that we really connected, that we bonded. You have a tattoo on your arm that says Ahava in Hebrew, and that means love, and that's Leila's Hebrew name. So I felt we really connected at that point, and we've become really good friends. Welcome to our show, Jeremy. It's great to have you.
I'm really grateful to be here.
Yeah.
That's funny that you remember it like that.
Why?
The way that we met, because the way that I remember it was...
Well, we met before that, but that's when we bonded.
It was like we hadn't spoken really the first 4 or 5 days of that retreat, and then it was the last ceremony, and it was the daytime ceremony. And I remember waking up, and you guys were sitting directly across from me.
In the ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys were just like holding on to each other in the most loving way possible. It literally looked like you guys were high school sweethearts.
We still are.
And after the ceremony,
we're retirement home sweethearts now.
I came to you guys. I came to you guys and I was like, I know we haven't spoken much, but I just want to acknowledge you because I witnessed the love that you guys have, and it was so beautiful.
It's probably something like this.
Yeah. Guys, by the way, this content is going to be on their exclusive Erased OnlyFans channel. All right? But this podcast, we're going to keep it PG, 13. Okay? Yeah. So anyways, I witnessed you guys across from me, sitting in ceremony, just expressing so much authentic love for each other, and it was beautiful because there's not that many people to look up to in the world who have like a very beautiful sacred union. And just witnessing you guys, I acknowledged Dave. I was like, I just want to let you know, man, it's beautiful to witness that and see that. So yeah, thank you guys for just leading by example. You guys are incredible. You're so unique individually and so different. And
how are we different, Jeremy?
You know how different we are. We have excellent arguments about conspiracy theories, but he's finally come closer into my direction versus when we met, he was further away. Yeah. I was more of the conspiracy tin hat. Now he wears a half of a tin hat.
I've suspended all my beliefs in life.
He's way closer.
I don't think, you know what I actually think it is? I might be wrong. You definitely know better. I don't think it was David not being a conspiracy theorist. I think it was him just being so uncomfortable around conflict. Like, David's like a very nice, kind gentleman, right? But like,
unless you piss him off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's been things.
Once you piss him off, then there's no more nice guy.
Well, I feel like that, especially the last couple of years, there's been things that have happened that have forced him to like activate that fire inside of him.
Yeah.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean?
For sure.
Hence this show. That's why we created the show in the first place.
Yeah, and even like when we had our whole cancellation journey, in the beginning, it was very uncomfortable for David. And then once he like stepped into it, he was just like, all right, let's fight. You want to go to war? It's time for war.
I've had a lot of fights growing up.
You know?
A lot of fisticuffs. And I never wanted them. I never looked for them. But if you're going to mess with me, I'm going to take you out, if I have to. That's just
going to peacefully and calmly take you out.
Yeah. Here's the question for you. Who's writing your story? You or some random dude on the internet? If you're sick of Google, gossip blogs, or that one angry ex controlling how the world sees you, it's time to do something about it. Erase.com helps you take back your narrative by removing harmful content, outdated info, and straight-up lies from search engines. Your past shouldn't be a permanent headline. Erase.com gives you the reset button that the internet forgot to include. So don't let the web define you. Go to erase.com, use code ERASED for 10% off, and start owning your story today. Links in the description. Click it. Your future self will thank you.
That's another thing too, is you guys always are doing the inner work, because it's very easy to achieve like external and material success and kind of just coast.
Oh, it's a lot of work.
Exactly.
I mean, it's been work from the beginning of our relationship. 6 months into it, I hired a relationship coach. He thought I was crazy in the beginning, and then we realized it was the best thing we could have done. But it was still unconscious coaching, right? Because we didn't know about all this stuff. So once we went to India, we moved from unconscious coaching to conscious coaching. What's the difference, you might want to ask? Instead of blaming the other and learning how to communicate with the other, it's learning how to communicate with yourself. Who are you and why are you so pissed off? Right? Big difference. Like, I'm enraged right now. The old Leila would have been like, and you did this to me and you did that to me. The new version after India is, okay, and Kabbalah, which they're both very similar in principles that they teach, is, okay, why am I so mad right now? Why? What is? I know it can't be him. Yes, maybe what he did was not cool, but do I have to be enraged? Do I have to want to break a couple glasses, and throw something at the wall? Or could I breathe through this, dig within and go, okay, I'm just going to recognize the fact that I am pissed right now. Deal with that first. And then come back and say, honey, can we have a conversation about, that girl you asked to sit on your lap? I'm just kidding.
That never happened.
I know, just kidding.
That's not even a good example.
I feel like this is
not even a good example.
I know.
Guys,
totally
welcome to Jeremy Springer. This is
never happened.
No.
Well,
but I'm just saying, they're bringing up an extreme situation, right?
Hypothetical.
All the anything that triggers us, that forces us to be reactive, is something that we just need to examine within ourselves a little deeper.
Yeah,
it's a learning opportunity. Lean into that. So we want you to share your story. That's why you're here. You have a great story. You do great things for humanity. Wonderful work, but it hasn't been an even line from then to now. You are very outspoken about the use of plant medicines, and we're proponents. I'm a proponent as well. And the powers that be, the media, social media, don't really want these things to be heard or vocalized. So, and things got a little hairy for you. You had great reach on social media and elsewhere, and then you didn't. Bring us back to sort of the beginning of your journey.
Share the journey.
Oh my gosh! All right,
and it's okay to cry if you want.
Thank you for setting that precedent. Now I'm gonna feel like I didn't reach your expectations if I don't cry.
It's okay.
Now I almost feel an obligation.
Just feel it in your soul, whatever comes out.
So
go to those dark places.
I think the best place to start in terms of the erased aspect of things would be pretty early on in COVID. Actually, I guess July 2018 is when I first sat with ayahuasca in Peru. So that was my first experience with plant medicine in a very intentional way, and I had a transformational experience, and I was like, okay, I want to explore this deeper, because I see not only how it opened up things for me, but it's helping a lot of people. Everyone that I witnessed in my journey had massive shifts in their life transpire after they sat with the medicine. So
what year was this?
This was late 2018, and then
who was Jeremy at that time?
I was a personal trainer here in Miami.
I mean, emotionally, evolutionary.
I was still stunningly attractive and very jacked, but at the time I was a trainer, right? 27 years old.
Consciousness.
Exactly.
Where were you?
So pretty much at that time, I was starting to go deeper with things like Wim Hof breath work and ice baths and holistic health. But at the time, most of my self-worth and identity was still attached to being a jacked dude with a six-pack and a trainer, right? And it's any videos that I posted at that time was me working out, shirtless, I'm jacked, right? But really, yeah, it's a good thing.
Is that a bad thing?
Have you seen his Instagram?
Is that mostly David's content?
That's mostly David's content.
No, but
showing his sexy nipples.
I hope to be at David's stage of life, like looking as jacked and as physically strong.
It's pretty jacked.
I told you, stay away from that region.
The nipples are sensitive. Okay, anyways. So
wait, time out 1 second. Alex, will you reset the timer, please?
Yeah, I got it.
So
Wait,
Hold on.
This thing's drunk. This thing.
it's
What?
strong.
This thing's drunk.
Oh.
Seconds, minutes, hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So at the time I was 27 and most of my self-worth was attached to just being a jack dude who was a trainer, but I knew I had way more inside of me. Like all of this potential that I felt was not yet tapped into. And I wanted to explore, what is that potential? What is it that I'm actually put on this planet to do? Because there's so much more than just the physical body. So that experience, I mean, I don't know if I'd share this experience with you guys, but literally the first night of ayahuasca, I'm in the ceremony. There's probably 12 other people I've never met before. It's their first time doing the medicine too. And I just get this tap on my shoulder in the ceremony, and it's Nicki Minaj, the rapper.
Wow.
Yeah.
For reals, or you were imagining?
Who's
her?
No, this is part of my journey. And
So
Nicki,
it was imagination.
Exactly. But it was, as you know,
Okay.
there's a very
Felt
thin
real.
But
line.
we should caveat that we are not endorsing or promoting or
Of course.
the use of plant medicine. And if anybody who's interested in that, that's on their own journey. If they feel like it, this is not the forum to tell people that they should be
Of
doing
course.
this kind of
I'm
stuff.
just sharing my experience, and the medicine, I think, has been a big part of my life and other people that are close to me, but by no means is it everyone's path. There's many different paths to elevate your consciousness and become more self-aware and pursue a life of fulfillment. For me, it's just been an instrumental tool. But anyways, Nicki Minaj taps on my shoulder and she's like, "Hey, Jeremy, I've been watching you, and you're pretty dope." And I'm like, "Really, Nicki? Like, how the hell do you know who I am?" She's like, "Listen, we're going to go on my Instagram live for 30 minutes, and I just want you to share whatever you want to my fans." I'm like, "For real? Like, we're going to do this?" She's like, "Yeah, whatever you want to say." I'm like, "Okay." So literally in the ceremony, I start just speaking, which you're not really supposed to do, right? Because that can affect other people's experience.
You were that pain in the ass, huh?
You were that guy.
But I wasn't like screaming.
That people
or,
next to you were like, "Shut him up."
Yeah,
But
right.
You're that guy.
I was probably
those
speaking.
guys,
I was
right?
probably speaking like in this type of voice.
Okay, but still.
I know. So a couple of the people on the medicine team came over to check in, like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Right.
And then the shaman came over and waved them off. He's like,
Shut up,
"Let
I'm
him go."
live streaming right now.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. So anyways, I'm just channeling, right? I'm just channeling, speaking whatever I am, thinking that I'm in this experience on Nicki Minaj's Instagram live. I'm like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to impact tens of thousands of people. So anyways, the experience ends a couple hours later. And
You
we're
spoke
all,
for a couple hours.
No, but the ceremony
Okay.
ended a couple
Okay,
hours.
okay.
And we're all just getting soup after the ceremony before we go to sleep. And like 6 of the guys came up to me separately and they're like, "Yo, man, are you like some sort of motivational speaker?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "You have no idea how much your words helped me in my journey. Like, they were so transformational."
Chills.
And I'm like,
Are you sure they weren't thinking, I was trying to focus and you wouldn't shut the hell up?
Did you imagine them as well and the things that they said?
No, that was real. This was real. So they came up to me and they're just showing me all, like, it was 6 of them, like, individually.
You were that loud that 6 people heard
I was
you.
that
Out of
amazing.
12,
Strangled you.
half the people.
There was only 10 in the room.
Anyways, so that experience was like, oh wow, my voice is powerful.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
because before I was like insecure to speak because I was too scared about what the opinions of other people were, or I just didn't have the confidence to express myself authentically. So that was my first experience, and then the next night it was all this stuff that I'd been holding on to regarding my older brother, who went down a path of like drugs and
What do you mean
alcohol
the
and
next night?
stuff
So
like
the
that.
next night,
The next
the
ceremony.
next journey,
Yeah.
you did the same thing. You spoke nonstop.
No, I didn't speak. I had an experience with my
Okay.
brother, and it was crazy. And it was so. Anyways, that was my first experience with plant medicine. That's what opened up my portal to like, I want to explore this more.
No.
About a year later, I tried microdosing mushrooms for the first time, and I literally was in Miami, and I was just going through like anxiety, nothing like crazy bad, but I just didn't feel like myself. my friend gave me like a little cap of a mushroom, and I decided one day after work to like just go on a bike ride and watch the sunset. And I literally felt so at peace. I was like tuned into the birds chirping, and I was like, everything just felt, I just felt that oneness and connection that oftentimes these compounds help you achieve. And it really got me out of my own head. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I'm not even really struggling that much in my life. Imagine if someone's really going through shit, like with anxiety, with treatment-resistant depression or PTSD, whatever they're going through. Like, what if we could just return back to nature and actually return back to our breath and return back to the present moment to actually find the healing that we need? So after I did that for a couple of months and experimented with it, you know, once or twice a week, I shared it with a couple of clients I was working with one-on-one. One of them was an executive from Google, and he had a heroin addiction. So he was this really highly functional guy, okay? And then every 2 or 3 months, he would go on a bender where he'd just be up all night shooting heroin, stuff like that. Wow. And he had like tried everything. He had tried everything to...
Young guy?
He was probably he was like 44,
wow.
45. And he tried everything. And again, this guy was like, on the outside, you would have no idea. Like, he had a very, like, aesthetically, his life looked pretty damn good. But he would go in these periods of self-destruction every 2 or 3 months. Wow. And like, in that 18 hours, he would cause more destruction than most people are capable of causing in a year.
Wow.
Right? So he's like, listen, he reached out to me on LinkedIn, actually. And he was like, listen, man, I've tried everything. Like, do you really think this can help? I'm like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Like, 3 months in, he's feeling good. Obviously, I'm helping him with his whole morning routine, his nutrition, all of these other things too. But he's like, I haven't felt any temptation or desire to use. And then that was the same story for like 18 to 20 months. He didn't use it all, and he felt no desire to it. He felt almost like repulsed by it. And I think the reason for that is because like we helped connect him to his highest self. And he was able to look at that other version of himself and be like, that's just not me. You know? And he was able to see that fresh perspective. So that's when I really became bought in about microdosing, and I was like, okay, I want to start sharing this with more people.
And when you say microdosing, what is that? Just like a little piece of mushroom every day, or what's explain to people listening to this? What does that mean? At
this point, I had worked on creating my own formulation, so it was in a capsule, and it was 250 milligrams. So microdosing is
a quarter gram.
Yeah, microdosing is considered a sub-perceptual dose.
A quarter of gram. That's right. Yeah.
This guy is a mathematician.
And what is that every day?
Yeah, so we were doing it every other day.
Okay.
Yeah, we were microdosing with capsules, which we still do. Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. They were mixed with lion's mane and cordyceps.
Which is good for your brain.
Exactly.
Will you explain to our viewers what it does to your brain?
Yeah, lion's mane's amazing for neurogenesis, creating new neural connections in the brain.
Yeah.
And also it's amazing. It's probably the most researched compound for actually helping prevent things like dementia and Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And then cordyceps is called the Olympic mushroom. It's really amazing at improving something called oxygen utilization. Yeah. Basically your endurance. It's why a lot of athletes use it. Oh, wow. And those are both legal. They're functional mushrooms, right? Which is, again, going back to the whole, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but like when you start to zoom out and you start to wake up and you become aware and you start to look at, for instance, everything that was going on during the pandemic, right? Especially the first couple years in other parts of the country. And you see, okay, they're closing down the beach, they're closing down the park, they're closing down the gym, but they're leaving liquor stores open because that's essential business, right? And then we're demonizing things like mushrooms and other plant medicines that have literally been around for millennia, right? That come from nature, that have no proven negative side effects, that are actually helping people heal and elevate their consciousness. What's the real agenda at play right now? Yeah. And that's kind of what started the more the journey of like Erased was really like the whole COVID stuff. And
you got erased in what year though? Like 2020, you realized this was a big scam. And then at what point because your YouTube channel had a lot, right?
So
when were you censored?
What's the growth of the?
Yeah, where did
what
you
were
get
doing?
to?
So
And
exactly.
then when were you cut off?
And
were you monetizing at this point? So you were making, it was your livelihood, right?
So 2020, obviously March, COVID happens. I remember May 1st, 2020 is when I made my first post on TikTok, right? And, I was just posting anything there. I was posting dance videos. I was posting just mindset stuff, hopefully to elevate people's mood and vibe during these lockdowns. And then I was really just talking about health. Not even talking, hey guys, don't get the jab. It was before the jab even became available, actually. I was like, guys, everything's locked down right now. Please do your best to just if you have a balcony, get outside, feel the sun kiss your face, get some movement. And these are the things that are actually naturally going to boost your immunity. These posts were getting flagged for misinformation.
No.
Wow, that's crazy.
On TikTok?
Yeah.
Just TikTok.
This is TikTok.
Well, because TikTok's owned by China. They don't
And
want you outside your house. They wanted you trapped in your house.
yeah, it was crazy. And then I was like, and that just kind of put the
There's
radar.
not another perspective that they might say. No, because you said this. You said this.
No,
Literally.
No.
Health-oriented content.
Yeah, listen, early on with the whole jab stuff, because there's so much money behind that with Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer and all of the different government agencies that are in cahoots, I understand those posts getting flagged for misinformation, even though they're actually, as we know now, extremely truthful.
Yeah.
Right? But no, these were basic health things. It would even be me in a supermarket. I was posting viral videos in the supermarket, getting millions of views. Guys, avoid these ingredients. Right? These
I've seen your content.
Even
It's
that
good.
was being flagged?
These are so not all, maybe 1 out of every 10.
Wow.
Right?
That's still crazy.
But what happens is when that happens on a somewhat consistent basis, they basically they call it shadow ban.
Slow you down.
Right? They shadow ban, and they make sure that your page isn't getting visibility and all of that. So I probably went through 3 or 4 cycles where they would shadow ban me and stuff would kind of get shut down, and then we would work it back up and it would get back to a normal space. So anyways, fast forward a couple years. At this point I'm at 1.2 million followers on TikTok.
Wow.
Right?
That's a lot.
And then I wake up one day and I open the app and it says your account has been suspended, it's been deleted.
Wow. And
I'm I don't even recall honestly what the post was.
I know that feeling, but I only had 10,000 followers.
Yeah, so anyways, it was crazy, and it was one of those things where I was it was almost in an unfortunate way, I was almost expecting it. I was when I saw it, I was oh, okay, all right.
When was this exactly?
This was early 2023.
Wow.
Yeah. This was
I'm surprised you lasted that long.
This was end of 2022, early 2023.
It was after we met.
Yeah.
We met before COVID.
Yeah. So anyways, so fast forward today, I have the TikTok account back. It has 1.4 million followers, but we haven't been able to get it to a point where it was, where every video I posted.
You're there, but you're shadow banned now.
Yeah. So we might be able to do something with it. I'm gonna put some energy into trying to restore it back to maybe some of its, how we could get some of the visibility back that we used to. That's one. Okay, that's one.
What about Instagram? Because you have a lot of followers on Instagram.
So Instagram, there's never been something super big that's happened. Instagram has been probably the best platform, but there's the biggest one. The most heartbreaking time of getting erased is 100% this TEDx talk that I delivered at the beginning of 2023. Wow, that's crazy. It was beginning of 2023. And I never even got to see the talk that I delivered. This is the most effed up story.
Wow.
And honestly, like even
You did a TED
it even
Talk,
came
and
up
they
in this
didn't-
ayahuasca journey I was
They didn't
just
even give
doing.
it to you?
So
They
this-
recorded your TED Talk and you didn't even get it?
This is what happened. I was like, this was on my vision board for a while. I was like, I want to give a TEDx talk, right?
We talked about this a lot.
Was it on mushrooms?
You put your heart and soul into this. You worked so hard on this.
Yeah, it was about mushrooms and mental health. So this is before COVID. Before COVID even happened, I was talking to this guy who coaches people on helping them form their TEDx talk, and I actually hired this guy. His name's Tucker, and anyways, so he's helping me apply to these different talks. I was like, I don't care where it is. I'll fly wherever. I just want to give this talk. Okay. So long story short, we're applying to we probably applied to over 100 talks. Okay. Then the pandemic happens. All these talks get canceled, right? So after about a year and a half, the talks start coming back, and we start reapplying. We basically get denied from, I think the number was 114 talks, literally every single one. Okay. Then we finally get word that we got accepted. Okay.
Which one?
Monroe, Louisiana.
Wow.
West Monroe, Louisiana. All right. January 2023. I believe it was 2023. That seems a long time ago, like 2 and something.
No, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, I'm so excited. This is like 6 months before. I'm like, I honestly have never been more committed to something in my life. Like I literally had the whole talk like on poster boards. I would literally spend the first 90 minutes of my day, like wouldn't touch my phone. I was just in a pure flow state, making sure that I would deliver the best talk of my life.
Wow.
Okay. 13 minutes, 14 minutes. So feeling really good about everything. And the talk, right? Not once in the talk, right? I have a coach for this who's helped he's helped many people with talks. So we're following all the guidelines. I'm not once saying like, you guys should do mushrooms or anything like that. I'm literally sharing factual research stuff from Johns Hopkins, anecdotal stuff, talking about my brother's story with depression and all of the medications he's been on. Like everything that I said was factually correct, and it was also I ran through it for people at TEDx, and they basically gave me the green light that everything was good. Okay. I fly my parents out to freaking Louisiana because I want them to be there for this moment. All right. So we're at West Monroe, Louisiana, and there's 12 other people in my group who are giving talks. I absolutely destroyed the talk.
Crushed it.
It was incredible. It was unbelievable. It was.
At least did your parents record it on their phone or anything?
No, there's no phones recording.
Oh man, you're not allowed?
So
you're not allowed?
No, you're not allowed. And yeah, so anyways, the talk ends
secret
literally
recording
like
glasses.
I had like 3 or 4 medical doctors come up to me who were in the audience after the talk, and they're like, I've never heard anyone break down like the science of psilocybin and talk about like antidepressants in as eloquent of a way as you did in such an efficient time. It was like 12 or 13 minutes. Anyways, 2 months later, 3 months later, other people from my group, their talks start to get published on YouTube. I'm like, okay, all right, mine's gonna happen any day now, right? So I get notified by the guy, Tucker, hey, they're just gonna put yours through like another like trial because there's like sensitive topics talked about. And there's 2 other people I think that had the same thing, just to make sure that it didn't go against any violations or that it didn't violate any protocols. It's like, okay, that's not completely unexpected. We're talking about a somewhat sensitive subject. But then I see their talks get published. I'm like, okay, what's going on? It's probably 4 or 5 months after the fact now, after the talk. I then get a voice note from the guy from TEDx, basically saying, listen, man, we're not going to publish your talk. Like, your talk's not going to get published. And I was about to go on this Summit at Sea cruise thing, like literally the day after. So I didn't really fully process everything that was happening, I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure I get this talk published. You know what I mean? But after a couple months, I was like, listen, man, like, this is insane. Like, at least give me my talk, the file, so I can post it on my platforms.
Wow.
He's like, oh, no, we can't do that because actually the talk belongs to TED.
Wow.
They own the talk. And I'm like, you're fucking joking, right? Like, this is absolutely criminal. Like, literally years went into this experience. And fast forward, we're recording at the end of May 2025. I still have never seen the talk. I've tried to like email people from TED. It's been probably one of the more painful experiences I've ever navigated, because literally if that talk would have gone, it would have done so much, like it would have moved the needle in a massive way.
So why don't you recreate the talk with the same PowerPoints on your own show and just do it?
Yeah, no, I know.
You still have the PowerPoints, right?
Yeah, like it's not
Just
even.
redo it.
I know. I've a couple of people have mentioned that. I don't know. It was.
Because you have a pretty big platform.
It's like it's such a.
Would it be flagged if you did that presentation and posted it on?
No, probably not. I mean, nothing. I like literally. I've said way more. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. The thing that was most disappointing, honestly, was just the lack of accountability by grown ass men. Like, these guys are in their 50s. This guy I paid to coach me and like make sure this stuff didn't happen. And it was like he completely ghosted me after the fact. And there's just...
You pay him a lot of money?
I mean, yeah, for me it was a lot of money. I mean, it was, yeah, like... But that's not even the point. It was literally like 3 years of my life.
Yeah.
And... So this was one of the things, like, I was holding on to a lot of anger and resentment about this. So during my ayahuasca experience, most recently, last week, I was like, man, please just, I want to release any weight that I'm holding on to that's preventing me from...
In general.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're holding on to that resentment and anger, you're not going to bring in better opportunities until you clear that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you need to be completely free of everything so you can soar. Yeah.
It's not easy, but
So what happened?
so I mean,
So you sat with the medicine last week,
yes.
and this came up. You put it out there, God, higher power, please show me what I need to see that's getting in the way of being the best version of myself. And this came up.
This experience came up. Some of the other instances, because I'm like, I've been just working relentlessly nonstop. I'm like, there's times where I'm like, I should be further along in certain areas, right? And then I look back at some of these obstacles and challenges. I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy. I feel like so many things have just happened to me. So the medicine was telling me, bro, you got to get out. You can't play the victim. You can't. Yeah, these things are pretty fucked up. That happened.
yeah.
And so it's finding this balance between like, okay, this happened. It's really shitty. I'm going to have grace for myself.
Yeah.
And if I continue to just relive the past, that's not going to serve me or anyone else in a positive way. So yeah, there's the people too. There's the people, like, if I told you you can feel the emotion. Like, if I said I was completely released of resentment towards those people from TEDx, I would be lying. It's not completely gone.
Okay.
Because I think I could just never imagine myself doing something like that. Like, it's just horrific. Like, some people some people are just operating at such a low level of integrity.
Well,
you haven't found compassion for them.
and
At some point you'll find compassion for them,
and
then maybe that'll help.
But you have to
release
also think that they might be somehow controlled by Pharma, right? Pharma doesn't want people to know that there is a very cheap substance out there that won't make you addicted. It will actually help strengthen your brain and allow you to come out of the depression, because the pharmaceutical industry for depression medication is huge.
Of course.
Huge. And it is not reversing depression. It's just turning people into zombies.
Yeah.
This actually connects them to their higher self. This actually brings them out and uplifted, not needing pharma, because you become more conscious and alert.
Exactly.
So it's not that you had, a couple of dopes who was trying to stop you. They probably received a phone call that said, you're not going to let that show air. That's probably more likely what happened. And these people probably have a family, and they're living paycheck to paycheck, right, on a very expensive salary, and they probably can't, find a job somewhere else. So they're not going to stand their ground and say the truth. Think about so many other situations where this has happened, where intelligent people know what they're doing is wrong, but because they're afraid to lose their job, they're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in the minority that we're willing to say something no matter what, because we want to stand in integrity at all times. Unfortunately, the majority of the population is not like that.
At the end of the day, it's a process anyway. She can tell you, I can tell you, till we're blue in the face, that this is why it happened, and get over it. It doesn't matter. You have to get to that place yourself at some point, and that's everybody on the show who comes on the show has experienced a period of cancellation, has gone through everything that you felt, the anger, resentment, sadness, whatever it is. It sounds like all those emotions bubbled up for you, So
yeah.
How bad did it get? I mean, were you walking around with like low level anger all the time, or did it arise at certain instances?
I think no, definitely not at all times. But I think it was one of those things too. It's like it's kind of hard to fully process something like that, because it's like, okay, it happened. I'm angry. I'm upset about it. All right, like let's move on. But then there's those times where out of nowhere, you just start thinking about it, right? And then you talk to a friend and they're like prepping for their TEDx talk. And it's like, oh, I remember the days, I remember the days. So there's just these little things that like trigger the conversation again. So yeah, there's that. And then there's, I would say the most recent instance when I got erased, it wasn't necessarily from a platform, but it was after October 7th.
Gaza and Israel.
Yeah. So that was a very interesting time as well.
What happened?
Well, basically, I had never shared anything about my Judaism or anything like that on social media, really. It was just not like I was always proud of being Jewish, but it just wasn't like a big... You
wear your nice gold chain over here?
Yeah, I got this after. But it wasn't like a big part of my identity. You know what I mean? And then after that happened, and seeing the response from people all over the world, like the next day, people are like celebrating in the streets, and and I was like, this is so messed up. Like, what? 1,200 people just got absolutely ransacked and raped and murdered at a music festival. Like, if I was living in Israel, I would have been at that festival.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just hit me very hard. And I started, a couple of days after, I was like, I would wake up at 3:30, 4 in the morning, and I was like, it was basically just messages from God, like, yo, bro, you need to speak the truth. You need to speak the truth. Because so many people were just, it was all anti-Israel. This is before even Israel started going into Gaza.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, this is absolutely insane. People are saying things like, Israel's an apartheid state. I mean, I've lived in Israel for a year, so I know, I mean, all these people who are just spitting nonsense, like, I can actually pretty much just prove them wrong with the facts, because most of these people have never actually been there or talked to anyone who's lived there.
It's regurgitating.
Exactly. So that was crazy. It was something that, like, I didn't even choose to do, honestly. It just felt like I would wake up and I was like, I have to talk about this. And I was like, everything else feels insignificant to me right now. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about, like, this ingredient. I'm like, yo, like, it doesn't even seem important anymore, I
actually learned this recently, that when that happens and you're not feeling something else, you're tapped into feeling this direction, that's God talking to you.
Yeah.
That's your angel's talking to you, because it wants you to do that thing that actually feels right.
Yeah.
It no longer wants you to do that thing that doesn't feel good. And I'm actually tapping into this a lot more, because in business, sometimes you need to make a decision whether you go left and right. And just recently, even, I was in a situation where, you know, something has been coming up, and I felt something in my stomach that was like no longer wanting to go in this direction. But then I felt guilty about that direction.
Can't really share what that is.
You know, yeah, can't share with it right now. But then the other direction that I want to go in, I would get butterflies of excitement. You know, and then I learned that's because that's your message. That's your messaging from God and your angels to help guide you. So the more you tap into that and the more you listen to that, you'll know what direction you always need to be in and what you need to talk about. And so if not talking about ingredients isn't lighting that fire in your soul, isn't exciting your soul, it means that you're done with that. You need to move on to the thing that is, because that's your voice. Listen to it. Yeah. That's your message.
It's great advice, honestly. And David, I would love, you can chime in as well, because I feel like you're pretty connected as well to your intuition.
Yeah, I mean, I think God and the angels speaks more directly to Leila.
They speak to you. You just don't listen as much.
Maybe.
Because, you know, there's one big thing when you're tapped into God and your angels, you cannot be in a state of anxiety.
Yeah.
You cannot be in a state of fear. Any of these states that are in your lower part of your brain, you cannot hear.
Yeah.
So and you meditate a lot.
God speaks to me, since we're on the subject, in a different way than I think God speaks with her. When I meditate, when I get my brain waves to slow down to that place where I really want it to be, I'll have an epiphany.
Yes,
you know, and that is God speaking to me.
100%.
What's like a recent example of that?
Oh gosh, you put me on the spot.
Or if
I think I don't know. There's a guy that we met who we think is cheating on his wife, and I just really connected with him, you know, his feelings, I don't know what's going on with him, and I felt I need to distance myself, you know, because I think it's not an energy that I want to be around. I just want to, you know, I love what we have, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that was an epiphany for me. It's like, and I felt really close to you. And then I sent you that text. You know, I sent you. I sent her a text saying how much I appreciate her, and what did I say? Just say how much I love her. Yeah. So
it must be tough too, because you guys are managing a lot of energy. You know, I know it's mostly you at the school, but you said you're getting more involved.
He's very busy. He has, you know, he's got the farm, he's got a race, he's got a lot of things, you know, and he's the leader of the brotherhood at our school. So he's got a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'll tell you, for me, it happened very recently in the wellness center. You know, just like I feel like God putting a fragile soul on our lap, who the medical industry sent her home to die. She had literally 14 days to live. They massively radiated her body 4 different times, burned her with chemo, and on the last round of chemo, it was like, your body's not going to take any more of what we're throwing at you, so we're going to send you home to hospice, get everything in order. Young 36-year-old girl, beautiful girl, 65 pounds, and told the parents to basically
not a 30,
you know, just
not a little girl. Say
your goodbyes. 2 weeks. So you had 2 weeks to live. This was March 1st. And God orchestrated putting her on our lap. And we are now over 2 months later. Her cancer markers are going down, and she's far from on death's door. And I feel like, you know, God has been talking to me about her, and just kind of refocusing my inspiration, which is really getting people to understand that there is an alternative way. Focus on cleaning your body, getting the toxins out. Don't wait till you have cancer. Like, take care of yourself now. But God forbid you do get cancer, it doesn't mean you need to radiate and poison yourself. Yeah. Like, go explore alternatives first, right? And it's interesting because I've been spending a lot of time with this young lady, and she's really, that's her passion now. She wants to share with the world,
of course,
that there are options. And even if your medical team does send you home to die, like they did with her in a traditional hospital, that doesn't mean you need to accept it.
Yeah.
You can say, kiss my ass. You're not God. You don't get to tell me to go home and die.
We've talked about it before, but that's really that's the definition, I think, of hero's journey, is like you go through a massive challenge or obstacle in your life, you survive it, and now of course you're going to want to help others overcome the same with you when you were struggling with Lyme. And then that's what led you to find, there's no one, it's not like you chose to do all of these things just because your life and your health was amazing. You were going through your own struggles, and then you were kind of forced to be your own healer. And now it's like you're opening up these centers so others can access the same things. And it's like David, I think, is similar with all the stuff that he does. It's all...
When I met David, he was growing tomatoes in his apartment. Huge tomatoes, like this big, in one of the bedrooms of his apartment. This was in New York. New York. Right? This was 14 years ago. He was growing tomatoes in his apartment. So it's, it kind of makes sense. We own a regenerative farm, right? Like,
were you always interested in that?
I'm super interested in that stuff. Growing food. I love that stuff.
I still haven't been to the farm, by the way.
You need to come. It's
which
amazing.
is absolutely
it's a really special place.
For
the audience, it's a regenerative agriculture farm. It's in South Miami, about 34 acres. We grow everything you can imagine there. Plus, we grow food hydroponically. We grow fish and shrimp aquaponically. We have 600 egg layers of chickens. We have honey from our bees, and we just started our mushroom production. And we also own an 800-acre ranch in Oklahoma where we're producing all of our poultry. And what I'm really excited about, and we feed the kids in schools. So it's literally farm to cafeteria, regenerative agriculture food. But we're opening our first cafe in September, right in the middle of the city of Miami. Farm to table, regenerative agriculture.
What's it called?
It's called, the farm is called Regenerate.
The
cafe is going to be called Regenerate Cafe.
And where's it going to be?
34th and Northwest 2nd Avenue.
Oh my! You guys got to involve me in that somehow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we're going to do
definitely.
We're going to do a huge open house.
Please
put in your calendar. It's going to be beginning of September.
That's going to be sick.
Yeah,
I think so.
Right around the corner. It's going to be beautiful.
So those are my pet projects, and I get a lot of joy out of that. So back to you. Do you feel you've been through a lot of stuff, a lot of downs, a lot of ups, but a lot of downs as well? Have you been able to realize there's a grand purpose to all of this? And if so, what is that? What do you think that purpose is?
Yeah, that's a good question. So pretty much with this most recent journey I had in Costa Rica, I sat with medicine 4 nights in a row, and I made the commitment when I went there. I was like, I'm going all in. I'm going to push myself through the discomfort. If I'm feeling like, I'm good right now, I'm actually going to get up and have another cup. That was my mindset. So, and the reason I wanted to do that is because I realized like Rhythmia has this beautiful, I won't go through it all, but they have this beautiful kind of like journey they take you through where there's 3 core intentions for the week. The first one is show me who I've become through all my past traumas and events. Like, how am I showing up in the world now? So like, I even journaled, like, who have I become, right? And, I realized that through all of these experiences, the person I became, and this isn't who I was like a majority of the time, right? Still, if you were to see me, it's like, like Jeremy, he's just like, he's the guy. He's like doing great. But I became avoidant, passive aggressive, holding grudges and resentful, impatient, short-term focused, hurting people from an unhealed heart. And it was all a projection of all these things that happened. It was like this, almost like a lack of, like a feeling of betrayal and a lack of trust. And when there's those feelings, it impacts everything, even when you're not even conscious of it. So the first thing that I had to do was seeing how all of these things impacted my behavior And then once I have the awareness of that, I can recognize like, that's not me. That's not me. And then it's like, okay. So as the journey continues, it was basically like God, the medicine, saying, listen, man, you are here for a reason, a big reason, a bigger reason than most people. You're here to make a massive impact. So you're going to have to be put through more challenges than most people. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I remember getting that, like, I remember like getting that in the ceremony, and I just started laughing. I'm like, oh shit, like it makes sense. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, like, okay, I get it, but like, how much more of this is gonna happen? I feel like, I'm good right now. So,
that's good.
Yeah. So it was good, and it was also like, listen, I mean, it's all part of the story. It's all part of the story, and it's all part of the movie. It's all part of the book. And at the end of the day, also, I feel like even this last experience I had, I went through a lot of pain. Like, it was very uncomfortable. And I think the reason I had to experience all of this was to cultivate more compassion for humanity as a whole, for people that I work with, for people that I'm helping. It's like, if I haven't gone through any real adversity in my life, then how am I supposed to actually be able to hold space and sit with someone who's going through a lot of really difficult things?
Yeah.
So the cancellation, basically all of your life's challenges, you think, are a grand design to set you up so that you can really move the needle on humanity. That's sort of like the grand purpose of maybe all of the struggles that you've been through.
Yeah. And
but what I've read, it actually says we all, before we were born, our purpose was been written.
Yeah.
Right? By God, before we were born.
Yeah.
We all have free will, right? So as we go through life and we experience these challenges that are meant to level up our soul, that are meant to help us go closer towards our purpose, everybody has one. It's just who has decided to make the decision to go towards that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, right, you look at all these people, that are in prison or homeless people. It doesn't mean they didn't have a purpose.
No.
They just free will chose to not go in that direction. I mean, I was 13 and my best friends were pregnant. We lived in a horrible neighborhood, drug infested, gang infested, but I made different choices. We all had free will, right? Yeah. And so, it's just a matter of listening and tuning in. And that's what you're doing. You're listening and you're tuning in. So you're following your purpose, your grand purpose to make this world a better place, which we all have that. It's just most people don't listen to it.
I think one thing that we have in common that I think you would agree on is we have a tremendous amount of courage. Why do you think you have so much courage? Where did that come from? Were you born with it? Like, where does courage come from? Because a lot of people can't go down the path that you've gone down. They just can't, and they won't. Their entire life.
Yeah.
That's interesting. First of all, I love all of your Kabbalah teachings. By the way, I'm really good friends with Racheli, and I think her dad, Eitan, right?
He's my teacher.
It's amazing. That's an interesting question, David. It's funny because I don't even think I've ever really considered myself to be courageous until actually this past week. And it actually came up because it was like the universe and God always rewards bravery. So like doing hard things usually gets rewarded at some point, right? And man, I just feel like I genuinely have so much gratitude for my parents. I have so much gratitude for my grandparents who are all deceased. I have so much gratitude for honestly all of the people who are part of my lineage that I never had the chance to meet and that sacrificed so much to give me this opportunity. So I feel like an obligation to just make the most of this life that I've been gifted.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to ask myself later in life, like what if I would have, really just gone all in on myself and pursued my path. So, I think especially the last couple of years, I could feel some of these different things were weighing down on me. And I didn't want that to continue. So I needed to make a change. Yeah. You know, like insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So it was like, okay, I haven't sat with the medicine in like 2.5 years. Rhythmia contacted me because they want to be partners with me, like as we're building something, a really cool program together. And I was like, okay, they're flying me out there. This is amazing. I'm definitely going to say yes to this and just surrender completely.
I think that's that, first of all, I disagree with you. I think you've been a very courageous person for a really long time. It's inherently in you. And it might be inherently within us. We might have been born with it and put into specific circumstances that were very challenging, and that courage needed to come into play at some point as those situations arose. And we rose up to the occasion. I think that's what happened. Some people, and I'm sure you meet people all the time in your, in what your line of work, trying to get people to maybe lean into microdosing or whatever it is. Many people are not up for it, right? They're just not up for it, and they're not going to. Never will.
Well, that's a good point, and I think
they're afraid to see the truth.
It's hard work.
And I think that's really what comes down to it. I'm at this point, I'm so committed. Another thing that came through for me this last week was just living a life fully aligned with the truth.
Yeah.
In every aspect of the word. So like not being even a little bit dishonest about anything. You know, because it's very easy, you know, like to be 90% honest. And then like when there's little inconvenient moments, like you can kind of bend around things. And the medicine was telling me like, bro, keep going all in on the truth. The truth will set you free. And we're living in a world right now where people don't know what's real, what's AI.
Yeah.
The real thing that's going to separate, in my opinion, the real thing that's going to separate people for the next couple decades is like, who was actually courageous enough to be authentic?
Yeah.
Who is courageous enough to be themselves?
Yeah.
That's why you've been doing this for a while, but I'm so happy that David is doing this, because I think I've been saying it for a couple years. I'm like, obviously this man has so much wisdom and knowledge to share based on your whole human experience. And now like the world gets to be blessed with some of that knowledge, and you get to share some of your truth, because I think it's so important for you.
And his episode has been high up there.
Yeah.
They like his words. They want to hear more from you, honey.
I will. I am. And I'm more comfortable doing it. I'm sort of like you at the beginning of your journey, you know, where you're like, do people really want to hear what I have to say? You know, camera shy a little bit, but I'm plowing through that, and I'm feeling better.
Nah, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Well, I think also,
it's fine.
I think also for you guys as a unit, it's like, I've told you guys both too, there's very few people in the world that someone like me has to look up to, not only from like a business and success point of view, because there's tons of successful people, right? But it's like, who has actually replicated that success in other areas of life? Who's actually using their success and their abundance for making the world a better place, for giving back to the community, right? Who's showing up as a powerful, present husband, wife, mom, dad? Yeah. There's very few people in the world who are actually embodying all of those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we were broken. We've come from very broken backgrounds. But when we first met,
we were broke with no money and broken.
Yeah. So when we first met, so literally our second date, she started talking about, you know, self-improvement and Tony Robbins tapes and all that. I'm like, this is great, because I'm into self-improvement as well. And anybody asks me for relationship advice, I always tell them, you know, find somebody who's into improving themselves, because that is super sustainable. Yeah. If you're into improving yourself and your partner is not, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You know, and we can look back now after all the work that we've done on ourselves.
Oh my God.
It's amazing we're still together, because at the beginning we were, you know, coming from, we had a lot. It was rough. There were challenges, but we worked and worked and worked.
If he didn't work on himself individually, I didn't work on myself individually, and we didn't work on our relationship, it wouldn't have lasted. That's why divorces have such a high percentage right now, is because I've heard people say, I am who I am, So deal with it. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit.
Yeah,
So
that's
what
actually...
you're saying is you are who you are. You're not willing to grow and evolve your soul. You're going to stay here and live on this planet and stay the same person that you were, even no matter if it's whatever it is. We always, as I look at it this way, just like in business, every day is an opportunity to be better than the previous day.
Continuous improvement.
That's your soul is the same way. Every day is an opportunity to level up your soul.
Yeah.
Until the day you die. So that's the advice that we both give new, people looking for a relationship or new couples. Focus on your soul. Focus on leveling up your soul, and do it separately and do it together. We've done things separately. We do things together. But I will tell you, our relationship wouldn't have lasted if one of us was like, I am who I am, deal with it.
Yeah.
The other would be like, all right, well, I'm out of here.
Was there ever a point where it got close to that or not?
Never. That was one of the beautiful things that we have in our relationship. Actually, it's the opposite. When one of us goes somewhere and levels up, the other person's like, I want some of that.
Oh shit, they're ahead. Yeah, well, there's also like the notion of, there's also like,
It's almost like a spiritual competitive game where it's like, oh my God, that guy, he went to this and he came back even calmer. Well, how can I go to that? Like, sign me up. Like, that's how
That's
our
what happened with the first India trip,
That's
right?
what happened
You
with the
came
first
back
India
and then
trip.
you wanted to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I want some of that.
Yeah. And then he'll go do something and I'm like, honey, wow, you came back super calm. I need to go to that.
When's the last thing that he went to and he came back and you're like, I need to do that?
I think it was probably karma. You went to karma with our
Indian ashram.
Yeah.
It was about karma.
He did a karma thing. He came back like super peaceful and calm, and I was like, I'm signing up for the next one.
And did that already happen? Did you go?
Of course, yeah.
When are you guys next doing that? Don't you guys do one a year?
Yeah.
I do maybe one or two a year, but now we're doing, he's doing some different things.
Yeah, just other modalities that I'm doing, and there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. For anybody in the audience, if you want to level up your soul, there's really so many things to lean on to.
Well, there's also.
Wait, sorry, hold on one second. Monica, are you saying it's time? What was the time?
I want to wrap. You said wrap.
How many minutes do we have left?
It's 5:20.
Yeah.
It's 5:20, and your next one is at 5:45.
We have another one.
And me and David, or just me?
Just you.
Just you.
5:20. Okay, so we have a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, yeah.
Monica, can you get a little B-roll?
I gave you a wrap because I know it's going to take you about 5-10 minutes to wrap.
Okay.
Monica, can you get a little B-roll with my phone?
Yeah.
It's right here.
Do it? Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can post and we'll collaborate.
Yeah.
I love that.
So there's something interesting about this, right? Because it's like 1,000%
Wait, Monica,
agree.
I think he wants B-roll here. Where'd you go?
Yeah, B-roll here.
I have a strategy, guys.
Yeah, she's gonna get it there. She knows.
Okay,
what's
so
up.
do it again. Sorry. Start it over. Sorry. Okay.
Monica knows what's up. So there's everything that you were just saying about like the best way for a relationship to really thrive is both people be on their own journey of elevating and expanding, and then collectively you have that mindset, and then it's like you go to places that you can never imagine. And then there's the notion of like you shouldn't try to change someone, right? You should accept people for who they are. So where do you kind of find the balance in that?
Well, you don't try and change the other person. You work on yourself. That was the biggest message I got when I went to India first without him. And it just, everything hit me like, oh my God, like I realized, I was blaming people for everything, and I was like a victim, So I asked the monk, I was like, listen, my husband definitely needs to come here. He's got a lot of things, He goes, listen, stop. You focus on you.
Yeah.
You elevate your soul, and he will. And if you guys are the right fit, he's gonna want to be here. You should not even ask him to come here.
Yeah.
Focus on you. Why are you focused on him? You need to focus on you, your soul, and you leveling up your energy, your aura, everything.
Yeah.
And then that person will either join you to work on themselves, or they'll run away. And so he said to me, I've seen relationships happen both directions. I've seen partners run away from the other person because they were too afraid to look within. They were not ready to look within. So the other person was climbing, and the partner was still staying down here, and it doesn't work. So I could not sit there and say, David, you have to go to India. David, you have to level up. No.
Yeah,
no,
he would resent
no.
that.
No, but it's not right. They got to do it from their own soul. They got to do it because they want to do it. And I think that's the biggest mistake that relationships make, is they try to change the other person.
Yeah.
But then there's also the concept of not accepting the other person, but holding space for somebody. That's a fine distinction. There could be something I don't like, something that was said, or some behavior that I don't like. But I can hold space like crazy for that person, which
He's
is
really
a great
good at
container.
That, by the way, he's so good at that. You're so good at that.
That's my superpower.
That's superpower.
Yeah.
Even our kids can recognize that's a superpower.
And that's a very safe container for the other person, for them to level up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that
hold on, I think that what you just said is actually, I don't even know if you realize how magical what he just said. Holding space for that person so they can have the opportunity to level up. When somebody is in your face forcing you to level up, demanding for you to level up, you can't come out of your shell. You're afraid. You're like a turtle, not sure if you're about to get your head chopped off.
Yeah.
So you stay within that container that's your safe container. But if your partner was your safe container, then you can come out and start to explore.
Yeah.
And I always felt super safe with David. And of course, I'll never be perfect. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
And sometimes he has to give me a big hug and just be like, look, I know you're super frustrated right now. Let's just breathe together.
Yeah.
Because no matter how often I meditate or pray or have my one-on-ones with Etan, my Kabbalah teacher, I go to India, I'm never going to be perfect.
Yeah. And that's
it's always an
either.
opportunity to work on your soul. So when I hear beautiful relationships wanting to break up because of stupid things, I'm like, you're just going to meet the next person that's going to have their own shit of drama and trauma. Like, so you want to break up because of this? The next person's going to have just another realm of that, right?
Yeah.
So just try and work on yourself, let him work on himself, and see where you go from there. And I'm telling you, I've had about maybe 5 marriages that didn't break up because they focused on themselves.
I feel like you guys probably indirectly are also like marriage counselors to a lot of the parents at your school. Not like
he's a lot more
not
than
like,
I am.
Not like telling them what
We
to
also
do.
broke up people too. There's a lot of people who have not stayed together because they know something's inherently not good and it's not going to.
We weren't.
Oh, we didn't do it.
No,
yeah.
For example, we had a doula when we were, having our baby, and the doula literally divorced her husband because she saw the love that we had together during the hardest part of life, which is a woman delivering a baby. And mine was 3 days, right? So it was like traumatic. And we actually were getting closer and closer by the minute. She would tell us that she would see relationships that would just fall apart because it's really hard. And the way she would see us continue to love each other, even though it was like, craziness after craziness that was happening, ended up in an emergency, C-section situation, we came even closer and closer, and so when she saw that, she realized, my relationship doesn't have any love in it, and so she got a divorce because of what she saw.
Damn,
so it's not because of us, it's because of what people witness within us.
And that's honestly why I was saying, we need more examples. We need to normalize relationships like you. Yeah. Right? Because right now, like, even so many of the relationships you see on the internet or social media, and it's like, they appear to be just living this dream life. I can't tell you how many of those relationships I've actually witnessed in real life, and it's complete chaos. Yeah. And it's a complete facade that they're posting online, right? And they're almost like leveraging their relationship and their beautiful family to like build their business and like appear to be someone that they're not.
We've seen those.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that.
We've seen a lot of that.
But yeah, I would second, like, David's always just been, you've always just been a really, really safe space to have any conversation where literally there feels like zero judgment. And that's hard to find.
He's a great listener.
Yeah.
Again, our 10-year-old, it's one of the things that when we sit around the table and we'll have a discuss, what I love about mom, what I love about dad, what I love about, each other. And his is Dad is just such a great listener. He
Wow.
can just listen with no devices, no electronics. He can just listen. And that's definitely your superpower.
That's probably the best compliment I would say any parent, especially a dad, could get.
Yeah,
That's
we have to hold space
emotional,
for our
bro.
kids too.
She wants us to wrap up.
We have to hold space for our kids too, especially their evolution is happening.
He's
in
my
real
role model
time.
in it. He's definitely my role model.
I'm literally,
That's sweet.
you said you want, I don't know if you, I'm literally emotional at that because that's incredible.
Oh, we got the tears.
That's incredible. It's a good place to end.
Yeah.
But also, if you think about where so much of our trauma stems from, those first 7 years of life, right? And so much of that happens from not fully feeling safe or seen.
Yeah.
So if you can create a space and an environment where it's there's full acceptance and you can share whatever's on your heart, you can express yourself without being shamed or feeling guilty about it.
Yeah.
That's just creating an environment of healing and health.
Yeah.
And-
It's a level up space. It's an incubation for allowing a soul to level up. Yeah.
We're gonna wrap up.
That's what I try to do. So Jeremy, you're the best, man. Thank you for coming.
This was fun.
Thank
I'm
you
really
for-
I'm really honored to be able to be here.